Talk of even stiffer sanctions, the president himself promising more sanctions. Will that do the trick? To Texas Republican Congressman, retired Air Force Captain Brian Babin. It runs in that family. Captain, Congressman, very good to see you. Thank you.
Great to be with you, Neil.
You know, this does sound like a familiar script, sir, and that is have an emergency meeting, let the North Koreans know how angry we are, how outrageous their behavior is, and nothing comes of it. What do you think?
Well, you know, we've been using this strategic patience policy with North Korea for many, many years, decades, and look where it's gotten us. You know, they have an H-bomb, a thermonuclear device now. They've got an ICBM, obviously, that apparently can hit the continental United States. So this has obviously not been working. And I don't know how effective these sanctions are going to be. I think in the terrible event that North Korea doesn't make the right decision here, because it's up to them to begin to cooperate, we have to have a military option on the table here.
What would the military option be?
Well, I think stating that specifically would not be a wise thing, but I can tell you that in classified briefings, I think that Secretary Mattis, the President, Department of Defense is doing all they can, and this new policy, I think, is what it's going to take. You know, and the other side of the aisle seems to think that this crisis that we're in with North Korea is all Trump's doings, and I don't think that anything could be further from the truth, because Trump has not created, the president has not created this situation. It has been created and created alone by North Korea itself, just hell-bent to become a nuclear power and capable of blowing away millions of Americans. And I don't think this president is going to stand for that. He's going to take care of the United States citizens. That's his duty. It's our duty as well here in Congress. And we want North Korea to begin cooperating and get off of a suicide mission from what it looks like.
You know, I always wonder, though, Congress, you think about it, whether the Chinese could control this any better. I'm sure, and I've raised this with other guests, the North Koreans gave the Chinese a heads up about this missile test. I don't know if then the Chinese let us know, hey, they're going to conduct another missile test. But there's something in me, and I know what they're talking about, freezing all funding in their banking system for anything for North Korea, but I don't know. Do you trust China to help us out with this?
Absolutely, and I want to commend the administration for getting the help so far that we have gotten from China, because China had absolutely, I think they have a lot of influence over North Korea, and so I'm simply in hopes, in great hopes, that China will continue and do a lot more than they have done, so that we can defuse this terrible situation that we're facing.
Do you think Russia, and they've had some very choice remarks over the last week, Congressman. I think their finance and foreign ministers talking about apocalyptic events. It's getting to that point now in North Korea. What did you make of that?
Well, you know, the Russians are going to be Russians, just like they were the Soviets. They're going to try to give out misinformation. They want to stir up confusion and problems. They are an adversary. There's no question about that. But I can tell you that China, the last thing they want is a nuclear war or even a conventional war on the Korean Peninsula. And so, you know, I think we need to just keep a weather eye open on Mr. Putin and the Russians, and continue to try to work with China. And let's see how these new sanctions are going to work. I don't have a whole lot of faith in them, but like I said at the beginning of this conversation, we certainly need to have a military option as well.
If I could switch to domestic issues right now, Congressman, and this idea that's been bounced around to speed up approval of the tax cuts, assuming the Senate votes to support them, at least their measure, that they submit it to you guys in the House for a straight up or down vote. How would you feel about that?
Well, we had our conference meeting today. We certainly want to go to conference. And a straight up or down vote kind of just depends on exactly what they pass. And there's still a lot of conversations going on. I am absolutely in favor of giving America the badly needed tax break and tax reform package that they so desperately deserve after having waited since 1986. That was the last time we did it. This economy obviously cannot be taxed or spending cut to get us out of the debt problem and economic situation that we're in today. We have to grow our way out of it. I think the past 9 or 10 months of President Trump's policies show that absolutely he knows what he's doing. There's over 1 million people back to work. Stock market hitting high after high. Just a great amount of optimism. Just some good things economically that are happening under President Trump. So we have to get something to the American people. We have to get something over on the president's desk that he can sign. But hey, I'm not going to sign. I'm not going to vote for something that I'm not too familiar with yet. And so I'm hoping that we will have a conference on this bill, this package. But we'll see. Well, let's see what's in it. We'll see what they do the rest of this week.
All right. Very good seeing you again, sir. Thank you.